Me mo bibia kwaba eba Melodies TV so. Now there is an old video of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama bia me pese yenina yeshe because I want to say something about it. And it's quite interesting. Let's take a trip down memory lane. But before we do that, Mr. And then your first time was subscribing. Now, if you've been here before, like the video, and then in the comment box, no, throw baby I will share it free. I'll be reacting to the comments in the comments box. Before I ever cause on the Mr. say who tie me na we fusun, and I say we put you on weight. Now ope say we reduce weight and now reduce with food in the shortest possible time. I am recommending sa book we ya that screen so me recommend ya ma. Omo to book no catch me say in less than a month a bimokra catch me say in a week the effects are womo ehu no enya asem ketwa. But me dia make catch say the book ne so na wodi so for a month na we hu say we fu no akofom ana we hu say we wait no akofom a bra ye de usika be ma book no ne bo nya den 100 cedis pe ati ase e bia wa try so be lose weight and fa try this book e bet show nyama miensa wo ya e be ma we reduce weight. Now open say onya book no e bia ni PDF ana ni twi video number na o screen so no 055 8074986 055 8074986 free and now WhatsApp here e was our number ne so na ye be PDF and actually video no amount and as a link in the comment box no click here obenya book ni be quite easy. Now let's go and watch the video of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama emra ye announce no as the vice presidential and I said the running mate for that time no Yankopon fan the French ye John Evans Atta Mills ye video no
John Evans Atta Mills has just concluded all the final consultation process.
I think that's obviously free anchor, right? And then behind him, no, I think that is I stand to be corrected, but I think that is Hariza Call. I stand to be corrected, I don't know. Say oh no there. But I'm also seeing a very young Mahama Yariga also standing there.
In conformity with Article 44 of the NDC Constitution, Professor Mills has named Honorable John Dramani Mahama as his vice presidential candidate for the 2008 elections. The decision, which has been unanimously approved by the National Executive Committee of the NDC.
Party functionaries present erupted into spontaneous joy soon after the announcement. The choice of John Dramani Mahama as the running mate of Atta Mills ends weeks of speculations over a suitable candidate for the position. But moments before the announcement, anxiety was written on the faces of some executives and other members who had thronged the Kama Conference Center. Ningo Pram MP E.T. Mensah, Party Chairman Dr. Kwabene J, and MP for Avenue Do Ajaho walked briskly into the meeting, avoiding any interaction with an equally anxious media. Occasionally, some members came out, talked briefly, and retired into the closed-door meeting. The pensive mood among supporters was felt by scores of media personnel who had lined up in front of the hall, eager for information. Exactly 11:09 Wednesday morning, the flag bearer, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, pulled over in a van. Predictably, he was also refused to speak and hurriedly walked into the National Executive Council meeting to announce his running mate. The former vice president wore a more serious look when he emerged from the meeting and hopped into his waiting van. Former President Jerry John Rawlings also drove in minutes after Professor Mills had left. He was met midway by E.T. Mensah, only to turn away after some discussions between the two. He declined to speak, but only whispered a goodwill message to the National Executive Council. The minority leader, Alban Bagbin, stood for some interview.
Neither the candidates, neither of them, they are all going to unite as one party with common political philosophy that we believe is the best for the country. And then we're going to once again recapture the commanding political heights of this country and move the country in a better direction.
So basically that's that. Now before I do the analysis on this video, before I say whatever I want to say, I think there is one thing about Ghanaian politics it was obi bia wo person in the politics mono osua, and that thing is that politics, especially the Ghanaian politics, is for life. If you really want to become a politician in Ghana, you have to think long term. Because it's quite surprising, say several years ago, so that video was several years ago, and it's quite surprising, say up till then, the faces we saw are still the faces leading the NDC party. They are still the top people in the NDC party. And so it just tells you, say, politics, no, it's a long-term thing. Yes, yeah. And so if you want to enter into politics, you shouldn't be seeing it as success. You have to toil for well over 20 years. Yes, yeah. Be in the party, be active in the party, and do a lot of things. Basically, that's one of the things that Monsieur Evo video with mono. Now, another thing I'm can say, you see, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you are appointing him as the Vice President. No, obi nipakra me medanase, ana nipakra me mede asidane bema no Otumfuo say tutu. And I've said it on this platform before, but me sure say ebia me kind no nkrofo ebia no obi ante. Now the reason why Otumfuo say tutu medanase, and it's a lot of people don't know this, but Mahama emra na ye ma no sa position no mpe o. Sa de we ye kokko ye ya ne ye announce no na Mahama so mpe o. Ye command the position say wo mra meda the Vice President no, and the running mate no mpe osi mpe. No osi mpe. Because around that time he was very young in the party. There were people who were achieved in the party, right? Who you would say have achieved a lot in the party than him. You saw people like Harris Akko. You saw people like E.T. Mensah. E.T. Mensah. You saw big people. People like Alban Bagbin. Because Alban Bagbin, around that time, was the majority leader. Alban Bagbin spoke. He was the majority leader then. And Mahama was an MP. Intina Alban Bagbin, Mahama, the senior, parliament. Haruna Idrisu. I'm not saying Haruna Idrisu is Mahama senior there, but you also saw Haruna Idrisu working in there. Inti Alban Bagbin crowd and anka be selected anka nkombe tumi aka so be selected. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ne kokko selected. He didn't want it. Na one pay. Na the intermediate Otumfuo asene say Otumfuo say tutu na catch Mahama say onya is asem na work and say on no. That's why me personally me do NDC, but I'm not going to let, and I'm not going to encourage or mean so NDC needs to be as say undi Otumfuo atem, because enye Otumfuo anke yenya Mahama. Atta Mills ni Mahama kasaya was yonye. And Atta Mills they go to Otumfuo him. Otumfuo reach out to Mahama no kada and say, hey masa, abrantie, he bibi ye, o my air fro se brabe sumo a sum. Otumfuo nso de sebe ne nimu onyam, oni Mahama kasaya no. Papa kasa, onze to de bi anyama bi wa won pese obeye. Nanso openyi kape obeye. Papa kasa, o se Mahama fi, ena Mahama em se opene so ema eye Otumfuo ena obae ende eni nti wo hwe nyama pa ende His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wode aba na ko Otumfuo ntunifo a na ka ende ye nya sa nyama no eno nko ahu nti wo ye NDC ni a Otumfuo sei tutu a wo gina ho no wo se wo bu no odi obuo ema no ono nko ahu nti. And also wo hwe se ne His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no one pair the man na wo ba ya wa ba be ye de wa ye nana. It is also part of the reasons why I don't support Omo say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should go for a third term. Right? Because then he didn't want it. And nyame adom ye force no the man no eno no nso so mu a waye sa ne mmra so NDC won krofo bebre we che on betumi take over nti eya na me hu videos wa yo si mu na wa yo si ye videos Mahama go for a third term sesa constitution no na go for me. I don't support that. So we are papa no abre ati ase onko je na home basically no. That's what I'll say. Montreal mo your comment box ni mo. That's it.